Okay, guys out there, make sure you read the directions because I'm changing this to a left-hand clutch control, and at the end it says pull out both end plugs from the tube and switch them. And that was these end plugs right here. You got one at each end, and you got to pull them out and flip them around because when you install the blind, there's an inside and an outside to the blind. So this will make it done the proper way. Okay, so now we just take that and we're going to tap that in. Just here, I got some channel locks here. Okay, Frankie, just tap that with the channel locks that way, or you can set it on the plastic, whatever. Okay. So now that's the proper way. Now you've got left hand and right hand, so you don't have to do that to all of them. We had to do this one to this one here because see this side here. This is what I call the inside. So it looks pretty close to the other side, you know, but I want the finished side coming directly to me, not on the outside. Okay, so that's why I had to flip those edges around. Now we're ready to slip it up there, and I installed the one end first, and we're gonna put the little knuckle side on that, and then I'm gonna hold it up here, and I just follow the directions, and you can do it. Okay. What you got there, Frankie? Let's see that little bracket that you had. That's kind of slick.
It's a tie down to keep it from...
It's a tie down. You can put it right there on that loop, like that. Here, here. And this is kind of like this, see? And so you can put that down wherever, and then you can pull this down with some tension, just a little bit of tension. You've got to decide where you want that if you're going to use something like that, because then that could keep this from flopping around. Because see, we got it outside, and this will go up and down 6 feet. So you can decide, you want it down this low, you want it up here, do you want it down to 6 feet, and then put this down there. And another thing you can do, if you didn't want to use something like that, you could use a bungee cord from here, and then you can put it down to your fence or whatever, you know, something like that. But that's kind of nice. This comes with it, so if you can use it, do it.
It's well made.
Okay, we've got everything out of the package. Here's the little dealy bob. We're gonna screw that up to our block now, okay? And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a drill, and I've got a small drill bit on here. They're kind of crazy. You can't take this off.
Let's start all over, because
it's time to install the main bracket. This first bracket with the turn on here, I'm going to put that up first. And it's all in your directions, don't worry about it. Okay, this is the next step after I got my blocks up. If you need to install the blocks, and I've got a drill, I've got a really small drill bit. I wanted to make sure it's a little bit smaller than my actual screws. Because see, up here on the block, I've already did some pre-measuring and stuff, and I know that this is going to go right there. So I've got to hold that. I have to hold my hand, my mouth just right. And can you do all this stuff on your own? Yes, you can, but it's nice to have somebody to help you. And I got Frankie here. Thank you so much, Frank, for helping.
Pleasure.
Okay, so I'm just going to use my drill, and I'm just going to hit it just to start it. I think that's okay. Yep, it's good. Okay, now I can drill that in. If you think you're going to just put a screw in that, you might split this out. That's why I like to pre-drill stuff. Okay, now for the next step, be right back, tell you what that is. Yes, there's always a next step. I've got to find my little screws. And I'm just going to drive these in. Now, if I had a long extension here, I'd be better off because I can't get my drill in there all the way without it hitting. Okay, so I'm first going to take my screws I'm just going to run them in and out a little bit. Boy, you know what?
That's the wrong screw.
I used the wrong tip, didn't I? My loss is your gain. See, I used my tip. It's too big of a tip for these screws. I've got a smaller tip here for my drill. I'll put that in there. Gotta make sure I don't mess up my screw here. I'm just going to put that in and out a little bit because most of that screw I'm going to have to put in by hand. Yeah, hot too. Hot potato. See why you have to pre-drill stuff? I wouldn't want that to strip or split off or run on me without getting it started first. Yeah, it takes a little bit longer, but you know, it'd be nice and easy to do. We get this bracket up there, okay? Okay, so we're gonna keep the camera going. I'm gonna hold the bracket up there. And it's up, yeah, another reason why, if you have drill bits, you wanna get an extension. If you get an extension, it usually has a magnetic holder on it. So I'm going to try to hold this up there. I'm just starting. Okay, Frankie, can you grab me the other screw? We dropped it on the, I dropped it on the ground. Okay, I've got good eyes. Okay, I've got the other screw here. And I'm just going to put that in. Okay, where is it? Boy. Just get it started, I guess. So I can't drill it all the way in because my drill shaft is in the way. If I had the extension, I could do it. But now I'm going to use a screwdriver, if I can find it. Where did it go? Oh, I got one in my pocket. That's another reason my loss is your gain. Wear your nail bag if you got one. I hate working without my nail bag on, but I don't have one here. I gotta get one. Okay, I've already made the deduction that I'm flush with the edge of this block, and I got it flush. Now these screws are nice and easy to put in. There's no way you're going to put that in if you don't pre-drill it. Okay. And even then, it takes a little bit. That's because I made the drill bit just a little bit smaller. I'm flushing that up. Looks fine. And incidentally, if I wanted to have done that right against the wall, I would have used the different screws on this bracket so you can mount it front, sideways, or up to a ceiling. Then you'd have to remount this and swivel it a different direction. It's all in your directions, okay? So now the next step is we've got to hold the whole thing up here. We're going to put it on this shaft. That's why it's good to have two people doing this. That way you need a buddy to help you. It's probably the best way to do this, okay? So we're going to pull it up there, and I'll be right back and show you how it's done.
You're on.
We got it this far. I'm pushing this over, so now I want to take this bracket here, set it on here, and I've got to hold it here and then pre-drill it, the whole bit, just like before. Just starting the screw holes. This is why it's hard to do this by yourself. Okay, Frankie, go down on the other end. Okay, grab this. We're going to set this down on the ground carefully. I'll get my drill. Drill these out because I've already got the starter hole. I'm going to change that